is Alex.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter.
You don't matter.
Life doesn't matter.
Well then, jeez.
Yeah, if you find some bleach down there, I recommend you.
I already have,
too.
bro. My eyes lock onto bleach.
The moment you see it.
Is that like your fucking like
Superpower?
IQ's fucking visor ability? Instead of spotting
Exactly.
electronic devices, it just finds a bleach
Stop
everywhere?
referencing Rainbow like you've been playing it for a long time.
I was playing it today and yesterday. I'm
You haven't
basically
been
an
playing it
expert
for
at this
long enough.
point.
You gotta earn that right.
I've got my degree in rainbowtology.
Wow, you know about the worst operator in Rainbow. Look at you, MLG.
Her weird gun that always bothers me when I
And
see
her
it.
fucking sketchers.
Isn't it like an AUG or an AUG? I just reference all other guns
I don't know.
in games to what they're called in Call of Duty and what they look like in Call of Duty.
Yes, same. In Rainbow, I don't know the names of guns. I know like everything about Rainbow except for the names of guns because it's
It's just a fuck ton of numbers.
yeah, well yeah, it's Thermite's assault rifle or IQ's pistol or Blackbeard's DMR. Like that's how the callouts for the guns work.
Oh, I see.
In my head at least.
I mean, when I was looking through like the inventory of other characters, it's just like S55, 6SD, SJW. I was like, Jesus Christ. Why don't manufacturers just give these things like fun names? Like, I don't know, the Dominator or the Skeletor.
Stop. No.
Like, it's fucking a lot easier. Like, even TVs and most electronics actually just have a weird serial number or model number that's like, this is the 55-inch LG 4K TV model J5000. Last year's J4000 series would explode and killed multiple families, but the J5000 series is explosion proof. Like that's like a one
the
digit.
The J5000 still does that, but
that's like a one digit
colors
difference
look
that
great.
could kill you. Anyways, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
How's it going, Patrick?
Did you see that people think that people are mad? Something about like Captain America being associated with Antifa or something like that.
Yes, I sent this. I'm pretty sure. I don't even know what the context.
I don't remember. I saw the comic panel and he was like standing above some discourse, and I was like, it doesn't look like he's taking any kind of side.
It looked like a Hydra rally and
well, it looked like
rally.
Sort
like
of a pseudo
protest
version
was a
of
protest.
Charlottesville almost, where you have one side with signs that say like Hydra did nothing wrong or something like that, and then the other side is a bunch of people wearing masks and stuff, and I don't know who that's supposed to represent.
Yeah, and then someone immediately took it to modern day.
Why the hell are you saying
turmoil.
that Captain America is an Antifa?
Imagine Captain America being against fascists. I wonder why. But at the same time,
Sucking Hitler.
in many ways, throughout history, I feel like Captain America would realize that America's kind of the bad guy in a lot of situations. Like, if you talk to Captain America, we talked about this last night, but if you talk to Captain America about how they won the war, it's like, hey, so by the way,
He wouldn't know about
how'd
the
the war
bombs.
end? It's like, oh, they just dropped atomic bombs on Japan, and he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, you know. It was getting hard fighting on islands, and then they just decided to mass kill the populace until they surrendered.
This skit that I watched is Captain America breaks into this place, and then the guy was like, "No, stop, Captain America, or I'll nuke a populated area." And he's like, "You'd become the first person to have ever nuked a civilized area." And then he'd be like, No, I wouldn't. That would be Lyndon B. Johnson or whatever." And he was like, "That's nonsense. He would never do such a thing." And then he literally holds up a cell phone video of it happening, and he was just like, "This isn't right." I'm just amazed, like,
or even like America toppling, like South American governments or whatever, and instilling dictators, like, or like secret CIA torture stuff. God, there's so much I want to like run through his brain.
Winter Soldier is a good idea. Just the best, like, what a 1945, Patriot man would integrate back into Spec Ops and like bad like shit that America does and sends people on shady operations and stuff. It was really interesting. That whole movie's just fucking great.
Is Captain America? I don't think Captain America is super actually pro-America in the movies anymore. Especially
he's anti-bully and he likes helping people. That's the idea.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, he hasn't had like a patriotic stint since like the first movie, really.
He's pretty much disillusioned with the idea of big government and America in general, because he's like, in that line he said like, Hydra, Shield, it all goes, and he was just sort of like, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah, like in Winter Soldier, we obviously see Shield making that secret targeting thing that will automatically kill people that are like have a statistically high percentage of committing a crime.
Just like a very dramatized. It's an excessive version of drone strikes, just like
basically
to the nth degree.
It's like some Minority Report shit, like future crimes or whatever.
Big Brother stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but then Hydra ends up being inside of S.H.I.E.L.D. anyways, so both of those fuck right off. And then during Captain America Civil War, the Secretary of State comes in and drops a fucking phone book on the desk. He's like, you gotta sign up for these accords. You gotta get a license to be a hero. We gotta get this regulated. And Captain America, being the true-hearted American he is, hating big government, is like, no, I'm gonna go my own way. And instead of, registering and fighting for my country in an official capacity, I'm gonna go rogue because I'm not Captain America anymore.
Could pass some legislation that requires Falcon, Black Widow, Hawkeye, anyone who doesn't have a superpower and has a stupid fucking gimmick to wear one of those Iron Man suits, I am all for it. And Captain America would probably sign it 6 times. He'd be like, yep, I'm okay with that.
I don't know why really everyone could just be enhanced by whatever Tony Stark decides to make them. Like,
maybe they just don't like him.
Maybe. Oh, you see Black Widow and Hawkeye using some form of like tech, but it's not.
They
like
have shock
tech.
batons, and Hawkeye probably resents the idea of being trapped in some. It's probably some character decision or something like that. Like, but if it would help you in situations where people are in danger, it doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, even like an exoskeleton kind of thing. I don't think like a full suit, but like, I'm sure he can come up with something.
He literally gave one to a guy who already has superpowers, Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
like, all the lineup is standing there, and most of them are squishy idiots who have no superpowers. And he's like, Spider-Man, you need a boost. You're not quite powerful enough.
Basically. I wonder if Black Widow low-key was pretty mad about that. I was just like, I've been friends with you for like 8 years now. And
she got an upgrade, though. She became a Super Saiyan. She's blonde now.
Oh, true. Every day she changes her hair so people won't recognize her. Anyways, Yaman, stop shaking your head like you don't care about what we're talking about. You're basically...
He's been looking around in that room.
After being a big old Infinity War crybaby like the rest of us. I see it in your eyes.
I didn't like not the entirety of Civil War, but just the way it felt kind of silly. I know people really like that movie. It just felt weird.
Wait, you think the movie's weird now?
It just doesn't... With Infinity War, it just like leans all the way into what a superhero sort of thing should be. With Civil War, it doesn't do what Winter Soldier did, where it balances perfectly on the line of sort of tactical soldier stuff and Captain America and superhero stuff. It just balances and rides the line perfectly in Winter Soldier. But with Civil War, it just sort of felt strange. Like it wasn't... I know it's not supposed to be realistic, but it didn't seem it didn't seem like these characters would be doing these things. Like the Tony Stark being super emotional and like, oh, he killed my mom, so I'm going to kill him. That's not really... I know that he's selfish and he would make stupid decisions, but that's not really the kind of decision that he would make, in my opinion. Like all the just small stuff like that kind of ruined that movie for me.
I think the only thing in that movie that's kind of inconsistent that bothers me is that if Tony Stark feels so bad about getting this kid killed or whatever, and I guess just getting innocent
that's very
killed
stupid.
anyways,
Bringing a child
why
into a
bring
fight.
a fucking child, as in Spider-Man, into this fight? That like, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But I know it was just a way
Character
to
introduction.
introduce Spider-Man. And I think if you were going to introduce Spider-Man, doing it through Iron Man makes sense. But just in the context that the film already set up, it doesn't really work. But whatever. It ended up being cool and entertaining, so no one cared.
You know, there should... Maybe you have a reason for him being there. Be like, Peter Parker is an amateur photographer before he's a reporter. So what if he's trying to get those sweet pics of those Avengers fighting so he can make fucking bank with J. Jonah Jameson and sell those pictures to him, and that's the reason he's at the airport. But that's an airport in Germany, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But there's got to be a better reason than, hey, let's bring a kid in here.
Yeah.
Captain America should have had a line where he's like, "Did you bring a kid?" and like upset with him, like angry.
Yeah. God, that would have been good.
Yeah.
What's your have you ever really seriously thought out rewriting a certain movie? Like, I feel like a lot of people have done that with like Batman versus Superman, for example.
Batman versus Superman. Yeah, actually, specifically, there's a talk. His reasoning for killing Superman is poorly explained and really stupid, but there is a grain of like I can understand it in there, and it's that if there's a 1% chance that he could go wrong or something like that, then we should kill him. The better way to explain that is Superman is a nuclear bomb given emotions and a personality, and that is so completely dangerous. There's no reason if there was an option to give a nuclear bomb emotions and a personality, you would never do it, because emotional beings are erratic and they make weird decisions, and then they could blow everything to smithereens by getting upset or losing somebody they loved and then just glassing the planet. That makes sense. Why not explain it that way? Batman, the smartest person that he is not this some lumbering oaf that runs around and picks up the spears and goes like, "Oh, Martha." That whole thing with Batman was stupid. Reasoning needs to be way better for that.
You didn't need to tie in like our moms have the same name shit or whatever. Like, it could have it would have been so easy just to like, okay, Batman's concerned about Superman, obviously, because he has so much fucking power, and Batman's obviously got to do something about that. And then you would just bring him down to earth by like Superman doing some sort of other good deed in front of Batman to like prove to him that like, oh, he's actually like well intentioned and like we're on the same side here. But instead they just
like Superman is only works when it's a villain because it's something to overcome. It's not interesting when that's your protagonist. Having someone who's unstoppable.
Yeah. That's another thing is like Superman is like the most boring character most of the time. Mm-hmm. Just because he's like not really designed to have a weakness except for kryptonite, but kryptonite has become so cliche. It's literally like you can literally refer to other people's kryptonite as their weakness and people will get it. Like, it's part of the cultural like lingo these days. And other than that, what can you really do with him? Like, okay, he's gonna fight a guy, the guy, and especially usually it's Lex Luthor, who's only a fucking dude, and he just like pulls out a rock and he's like, I have you now, Superman. I'll throw all my money at this robot suit, or like to revive this dead creature that I have no control over, and maybe that will do something. And then just shit hits the fan, and then Superman ends up winning. Or in the case of Batman vs Superman, he dies, but then quote unquote comes back in the most bullshit
And then
way.
Lois Lane goes and gets the spear that she saw that she threw away herself because she thought that, oh, they might need that to kill Doomsday, even though she has no idea that it's a Kryptonian DNA monster. Such a stupid.
That movie's so stupid. I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. I fucking hate that. Yaman, your story about the call you got today at the bakery, it was very funny. Tell it to me again.
So there was the call, and the number on the caller ID was like, it was like a letter and then like a bunch of numbers that like ran off the end of the phone. So I knew it was going to be something odd, and I answered it, and it was some South Asian man who, before I said anything, was like, we've gotten warnings that there have been attempts to download malicious software onto your computer. And instantly I'm like, this is a fake. I should just hang up. Or I could have some fun with this because I was really bored. So I go, it's probably the porn. Is it the porn? And he doesn't say anything for a second, and he goes, yes, it's the porn. And so I'm like, great, okay, I could have some fun with this. What did he say next? He said 2 men were trying to download malicious software, and I was like, no, that's just the stuff I was watching. and he was really trying to stress how serious what was happening was. And I was like, no, I think it's worth the risk, man. This porn is good stuff. And then I hung up. And next time, because I've seen that before, the letter and then a bunch of numbers. Next time, I will put it on speaker and record it because it was so funny.
I love that so much. It
was so funny.
Like, I don't do stuff like that because I hate talking to strange weirdos on the phone. But there's this guy who goes to the place I work, and he had a question the other day. He was like, he's insane. He's like completely insane. He's the most weird, insane person ever. And he'll like yell in the middle of a conversation out of nowhere. He might have some sort of mental deficiency, but I'm gonna assume that he's just an asshole. And
Okay.
And
wait, is this like that bunny guy or whatever that used to go to the pool?
No, he goes to the gym that I go to. This is a guy that shows us at my work who's like 10 times worse. He asked me like, because I dislike this guy. He asked me like, what's the least busy day? I want to come here in the morning when it's not as busy. Which day is the least busy? So I was like thinking, what's the most busy day that we have? And it was, and I said Tuesday because that's like the most time we have people here. We have like 6 different classes of people who come in and teach, ballerina shit or whatever. And he was just like, are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure that's the most busy day. And I'm like, no, during these summer days. And I made it so convincing. I'm so proud of myself. Like, I was just like, yeah, no, after the winter months are over, during the summer we have less classes and a lot of people stop showing up, stop, renewing their membership, stuff like that. So yeah, Tuesday I would say is probably the best bet for you. And he got up and he was just like, thank you for being so, serviceable or whatever the fucking word was. He was like, he just thanked me and then he left. And I was like, this is amazing. I really hope I don't work next Tuesday because...
Oh, that'd be horrible.
No, I just waved to him as he's like seeing over a sea of toddlers just like running around. He'd probably kick one or two of them.
Oh, did I say Tuesday? I meant Thursday, bro. That's my bad.
Did I say Tuesday? I meant never. This is never a non-busy place.
I actually meant Saturday. I get those mixed up sometimes.
I meant Tuesday 2027.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I didn't mention a month because I didn't think it was necessary.
I had a lady today. She called and she was like, I want a graduation cake for my daughter. She's going to Paris, so I want something maybe shaped in like the Eiffel Tower. And I was like, do you have any pictures for reference? Anything you found? She was like, yeah. I gave her my phone number to send it to so I could show it to the baker and like get the pricing and sizing and if we could do it. And this cake was huge. This cake had to be 2 square tiers with 4 round tiers on top getting smaller.
Oh, wait, you're doing a 3D like vertical Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, I
thought you were doing like a flat thing.
No, so it's a 3D. So it's 2 tiers that are square and then 3 round cakes that get smaller all the way up. And the baker looks at it, he's like, wow, is this a wedding cake? And I was like, no, her daughter's going to Paris after graduating. It's a graduation cake. And he goes, for how many people does she need it for? And I went, I didn't ask. And he goes, always ask how many people they need it for. So I call her back, and I'm like, so how many people do you need this for? And she was like, oh, not a lot, maybe 10 or 11. And this cake is huge.
Did she wait? Are you just ballparking how much of the cake is there going to be, or did she give specific measurements?
No, she sent a picture. She sent a picture for reference, and in the picture, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiers.
Yeah, but like how big? Like centimeters, like inches?
Patrick, if they were each 1 slice, it would be enough for what she needs. But they're each like the bottom. The base probably feeds like 70 people. And then each of the other cakes probably feeds like 30, 20, and 10.
I'm feeding 10 elephants.
I know, right? The smallest cake, like on top, is what she needs. But she sent us this whole thing. And I had to argue with this lady about how we could make a 5-tier cake for 10 people.
For 10,000 people?
I don't, yeah, that was interesting. That was a fun conversation.
Why couldn't you just scale down the size of the bases? Like, make everything smaller.
I mean, we can do that to an extent. Like, the smallest we could do it for would be like 150 people.
What the fuck?
It's 5 cakes.
Can't you just go down to like the cupcake level though? Like, just like fucking like make a pound cake, stack some cupcake sized things, and like
you take out the cake finally after you finish it all, and then you just take off the top bit and you're like, there you go.
You realize like the smallest cake we make feeds 8 to 12 people, so like even if we made that, like we would have to make that the base of this 5-tier cake.
So you guys only make gigantic ass cakes basically.
What do you mean only gigantic ass cakes?
That's like a normal birthday cake size.
What do you mean? It's like this big. 8 to 12 people.
Like,
people can't see it. It's like around my head.
Yeah.
that would have to be the base. So how big would the smaller tiers be?
Wait, so Yaman,
It
if
was
I want to
impossible.
come into your shop, I can't buy like an individual slice, can I?
Yeah, you can. We have slices of five of our cakes, and then we have like a bunch of pastries too.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So you can get individual stuff too.
I thought like as soon as I would walk in, there was just like a model life-size T-Rex cake, and it's like
No.
this is our
Those are
our
all-
cake for the next 6 months.
Do you ever get like
People are gonna
those like
slowly work
crazy
through it.
requests of like, I know how big this is. I want it to be that big.
No, not really. It's like 99% of the time, it's I need this 10-tier cake for 3 people, and I have to explain to them why that can't happen. Or they're like, I need this 10-tier cake. What do you mean it's more than $20? And it's like
More than 20.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys need to fix your menus or something, because these people are looking at a 10-tier cake and they're like, I can feed that. That's fine. Do you guys not have display cakes? I'm sure you do.
Patrick, I don't think we need a menu to tell somebody that the 5-tier cake
So
they
where's the
want is gonna feed
confusion?
more than 10 people. I don't know. She was like, I'm okay with it feeding a bit more. Like, literally,
like 900 people.
Oh my god.
Literally invite your
Anyways.
neighbors, invite the homeless
Do you
guy
think you could
outside.
eat one of those like between you and your friends
No.
for years?
No. God. It would go bad before we finished it. No way.
I'd like to think between the 3 of us, we could probably like devour a pretty
Mm.
well-sized cake.
A pretty,
Yeah.
not one of those 5 though. That'd be fun.
Not even. I feel like we could like the bottom.
I
two
feel
that
like
I was talking
that
about,
that
they-
like that. I'm almost thinking about it as the size of a tire, but like half that size. That's like the cake that I'm thinking about in my head,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
like a circle cake. I could probably put one of those away.
Now I'm thinking of a baker like trying to make a
I could
life-size like
send you
tire-shaped
assholes the
cake.
picture.
no.
Wait, did you guys ever make that butt cake? What
Yeah,
was
we
this-
did.
Wait, what ended up happening? That's so funny.
It was, I mean, very similar to the picture I sent as the like what she wanted. It was very similar.
That's amazing.
So-
I was pretty surprised.
Was she happy with
So
it?
was it fucking
I-
huge?
I wasn't there when she gave it to him.
That's amazing.
No,
That's funny.
probably like 40 people.
40 people for
amazing.
that ass cake?
Dude, you're not really
Yeah.
understanding how much cake there is.
I don't get it. I don't.
I'm not because like okay, in my mind when I think cake, I think like the cakes that you can get at the grocery store bakery. That like
Okay,
don't seem
well,
that
ours
big.
first of all, ours are like 2 layers higher.
shit.
That's like the first step there. It's also ours are not just like cake and then icing on top. It's like layers.
okay.
Right? So I mean that's another thing.
So you guys just go all the way out. Like you don't like make bitch cake.
Well, yeah, this is like an artisan bakery.
I mean that's usually it's like there are some customers like I would never say this because it would come off as rude, but there are some customers I wish I could just be like, it sounds like you need to go to Giant because like cause they're like, yeah, I want like the lady that I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast or if I've told it to you guys or not, but the lady that was like, I want yellow cake, right? And I was like, you mean like vanilla? And she's like, no, yellow. And I was like, you mean that you want the sponge? And she's like, no, like the yellow cake.
What
and
the
I just
fuck?
had no clue.
You gave her
what to do
every
with this
example
woman.
of what she asked.
That was it. Like that's not like you want banana.
I've run
I don't
out.
know what
There's
you're
no more
asking.
yellow cake.
There's nothing yellow anymore.
I've given you everything.
Yeah.
Do people give you like recently there was this lady who was changing her son or out or something like that, and one of the other employees, like it was like the very end of the day and we had like 15 minutes left before we left. Like we have a specific time where we're supposed to be gone, and then 15 minutes prior to that the facility closes. And one of the employees, a female employee, went over and knocked on the door a couple times because she was taking a long time and we had to close and lock that door. And she eventually ran back out and she was like yelling at everybody. And then I very calmly, I explained the reasoning why. And I thought it was just really polite and nice. And I felt like she understood. And then I got a complaint from her. And then it was brought up to me by a manager who works above me. And she apparently told him that I spoke very aggressively to her.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I don't know why. I get this a lot. It's like always like me like towering over them and yelling at them is what they hear.
Do you ever have a thing where you tell someone something and they're like, no, let me speak to a higher
Yep.
up. And then your higher up tells them the exact same thing in the exact same way. And they're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
well, I guess. I have that a lot where they'll be like, I don't know,
And-
I want this cake in the shape of a dinosaur. And I'll be like, we can't make cake size
I
dinosaur.
want the size of a building.
Yeah. And they're like, why? Let me speak to the chef. They'll come out and be like,
That's
we can't make cake dinosaur.
I've had
And
that
they're
happen
like, oh,
so
okay.
much, and it's like you have to say everything in the most polite way possible.
Yeah.
And then the manager comes out. They pretty much say it as like you're a fucking idiot, and then the person will be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I am an idiot, and they leave.
Yeah, right, that's how it works, and it's so frustrating. It's like, I could have told you that. Why?
But if
What?
you do that, then you're a monster. But the manager can talk to them however they want.
Yeah.
See, I used to work in IT my first 2 years of college, so
Don't
I've
care.
dealt with like so many fucking. I'm gonna fucking end your life. I'm gonna take the
Continue,
half-hour
continue,
drive
Al.
and beat your ass. I used to work in IT, so obviously you deal with a lot of stupid people not knowing how to use their goddamn computers. And I've actually been in a bunch of situations where the shit you joke about, Yaman, like people getting spam phone calls, like whatever, they're obviously meant to like, you know, fraud them or hack their shit. People fall for that all
It's
the
just-
time.
Yeah, obviously.
Like,
it was
and these
so
aren't
obvious.
dumb people.
I
I
know.
worked
That's why they
specifically
do
the IT for the law school. So these were law professors. These were lawyers who were constantly falling prey to fucking phishing emails and fake ass phone calls. And I'm like, how do you have a law degree from like Harvard or like decades working in like criminal justice and like being like this incredibly rigorous like intellectual field and then fall for like, hello, this is the Nigerian prince. I have money waiting for you and I need your help.
That's right.
And then we need to talk them through the whole process of like fucking securing all their shit. Not to
I
mention
don't
like
even. What?
got- the worst is when they upgrade to like a new computer because like you get free upgrades every 5 years or something. So like they'll lug in their old like 10-year-old MacBook Pro that's like still like white plastic, but like it's all yellowed over by now.
Ew.
And like
Yeah.
it's like, I've missed the past few upgrade cycles, but I think I want to back up my files
The
to
past
put them
20
over to
years.
my new machine. And I'm like, okay, sure, we can do that. And by the time I do that and move everything over, I'm like, oh, okay, there's a few programs that didn't make it over because they don't make it anymore. And I'm like, he's like, what do you mean they don't make the program anymore? And I was like,
Yeah.
well, that freeware shitty video editing software you used once to make a presentation for a class hasn't been updated in 10 years, so it doesn't run anymore. He's like, this is absurd. I don't want to upgrade anymore. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? That shit was
Yeah.
probably like a
I don't-
virus in the first place.
I don't even answer. I watch the phone. I don't even hang up on people who call me. If I don't have if it's just a number and I don't know who it is,
Yeah.
I watch the phone go away. Like I just watch it, stare
I'm
at
like
it.
that. I'm like that with my cell phone, but when I'm at work, obviously I kind of have to
Landline,
answer.
yeah, I love those.
So, yeah, that's fun.
Whenever I get those calls on my cell phone, I'm so bad. I shouldn't pick up if it's a number I don't recognize, but every
You shouldn't.
like 1 in 100 calls, it ends up being something important. Like it ends up being like about some job I applied for, or it ends up being like my actual doctor.
dude,
calling.
they get mad. They get mad about this. Like, why don't you pick up? I was like, I don't fucking know your number.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
exactly.
you're a stranger.
That is an underlying fear of mine. Because if I don't have your number, I just don't answer. And I feel like one day they're gonna be like, somebody's gonna see me in person and be like, oh, we were gonna give you $1 million, but you didn't answer your phone. And yeah.
Yeah,
That
so
doesn't make
there's,
any
like,
sense though.
So many situations I'm terrified of where like someone's calling me to offer me a job and I just don't pick up because I'm like, it could be just someone trying to sell me a cruise.
I used to be the kind of person that would never do phone calls, but I'm so tired of texting. I can't text for a long period of time anymore because, like, the most texting I do is with you guys, and it's usually abnormal when I do it that much. I'm trying to say that because I know I text you guys a lot, but it's because I care about what I'm saying, so I have to say a lot. Anyway, I'll call people, and it's so much fucking better because it's just like, yeah, I need this and not that,
yeah.
and fucking people misunderstand what you're trying to say in text.
I like FaceTiming as well now. When like texting for fun just doesn't
Also,
work
you
very much.
get in their face, not like an aggressive way, but they'll like take advantage of the almost anonymity that texting has, and like, oh, I'm safe behind here. But when you call them, it's just like, no, we're getting down to business now, and we're talking to each other.
Yeah, oh, that's great with freaking plans.
Yes.
Making plans in a group chat is ridiculous. But you call them and you're like, what, bitch? What, you're gonna avoid me now? Are we going or not? What time are we going? Where?
It's great.
It's great.
Pressuring people into making decisions is amazing.
See,
Yeah.
I still have a weird thing about calling people. There's some weird
Why?
psychological hurdle. But when I'm like in it, I'm like fine, and I actually prefer
Just
it.
getting in there is the problem.
Yeah, and especially working in news where I need like a pretty immediate response from people. Usually I just send out emails because I hate making phone calls, right? But people like take for fucking ever or never respond to emails. What if you just call, like, again, like you're in their face and they have to give you an answer? And most of the time, like, the person I'm calling is just some fucking, like, front desk person who doesn't know what the hell is going on. And they're like, and they feel the pressure. I'm like, let me go find someone who knows. And they'll fucking go find the person I emailed, like, 2 hours ago that never responded to me. I was like, it's amazing that this technology can force people to do things quicker.
That
than newer
let me
technology.
go find someone who knows what they're talking about thing is like 80% of my job. Like,
That's something I wish was a part of my job.
okay, but you have a very different job than I do, and you work up front.
Yeah.
I mean, I work up front too, but it's like I'm mostly hands-on, and if someone calls and it's like stress. Like, I don't like talking about stuff that's going on at work because I have no idea what's going on at work. I absorb none of the information. I pick up stuff, like, in my brain for a minute while I'm there, and then slowly I might learn something, but then I drop it as soon as I leave. And like, I'll pick up the phone and be like, yeah, this is this place, and you're speaking to Patrick. How can I help you? And they'll be like, do you know the Xenon Corvine Labodoo? And I'll be like, I don't even. And then I'll put the phone down and I'll get something else. Like, I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about 80% of the time, even though I work there.
It's like you drop the phone and you just run away. You don't get it. You just you panic and
through
you
the
just
glass,
run.
like, right.
Run, yes.
Have you ever like faked some shit to get out of a
No,
call
I couldn't
or
do that.
something at
I don't want to
work?
ruin someone's day. Give them false information and stuff. No, wait, I just did that to a guy and I told you a story about it. Only if I dislike some. No, I don't even do that for them. Sometimes I lie to someone because I can. I don't know why.
Sometimes I'll just pull an answer out of my ass that I don't actually know if it's right or not, but like the logic is like sound enough that it might work. Like I do that all the time in IT where I get off at 5, it's 4:59. Someone calls me being like, "Hey, I have to take an exam on this program tomorrow morning. I just figured out how to install it. Am I going to run into any issues if I do this, blah, blah, blah?" And I was like,
No.
no, you'll probably be fine.
And then
he
their
said-
house
he's
catches
like,
on fire.
Probably? And I'm like, no, you will be fine. And I was like, gotta go. We're closing. Goodbye.
Something that I've started doing, I've been doing for years at jobs. Someone will come up to me and be like, yeah, so my son was doing something or other, and then one of the like, when I was a lifeguard, one of the guards or like one of the employees started yelling at him and told him to stop doing that. What's the deal with that? And I'm like, yeah, that's just a stupid rule that we have. I know it's really annoying. Just like try to get on their side about it. And
Right,
then a manager will get mad at me for that, and I'll be like, you want me to lie to him and say it's a great rule that everybody should follow?
I do. Do you guys ever lie simply because the truth is just too complicated, or like I'll have times where someone will be like, "Did you get the picture?" And instead of saying like,
I don't even know what that is.
sometimes like a text message, like instead of saying, sometimes when I leave the house, like if you sent the picture like right at the moment where the Wi-Fi cuts off because I've left the house, my phone will freeze sometimes and I'll have to restart it, but then sometimes I'll have to use a different password. Instead of doing all that, I'll just be like, no, my phone died.
Your phone must
Not
die a
because
lot.
like, yeah, I mean, no, you know what I mean, but just like lie simply because the truth is like a long story.
It's not even always
You
that.
just don't wanna,
It's like not wanting to put in effort. Like, I send 800 million memes, so I guess I'm kind of bad for doing this myself, but someone will send me some like post or something, and then I'll reply to them and be like, ha ha ha, I didn't fucking watch it. I don't care what it is.
I'm like, I'm just going to suggest that I watch this. even though I'll probably
Or,
come back to it later, but
like,
I never do.
This is about children being murdered. Why are you laughing?
Or just based on the thumbnail, I'll like try to compute what could possibly be the subject of the video and say something really broad. It's like, I can't believe that girl did that, or something like that, and just that's enough. You squeeze right in.
Yeah. I do that shit like a lot with my mom, who will constantly text me about stuff. She's like, "Oh, you should watch this show. It's really interesting." Or she'll tell me something about like her day or something I should look into or whatever. I don't fucking know, just mom shit. And I'm like, "Oh, huh, that's interesting." And she's like, "Interesting? Question mark? Is that it? Why do you always say that?" And I was like, "Oh no, I just find it genuinely interesting." Even though that's just like my default response, where I'm just like waiting for this conversation to be over so I can get back to doing what I was doing before.
You should be like, okay, it's intriguing, you stupid bitch. Would you like me to use different vocabulary every time I talk to you?
Damn.
You should say that to her.
Go
You
well.
should say that
Do
right to her face.
I should just be like, "No, it's actually not interesting at all." What did you want me to say? What's another? I had a fucking scenario in my head, but now I totally lost it, so that's on you guys.
It was probably about
Rest
your
in
mom,
peace.
so I don't care.
Rip.
Dang, sick burn, Patrick.
Got me there. I was roasted.
Can we talk about that thing that dude perfectly summed up, which I've brought up a couple of times to you guys, which is over-familiar playful rudeness?
Yeah,
I love that description.
Can you explain
Okay,
that?
so you'll post something, you'll make a tweet, something like that. You guys may not be familiar with this, but like, you'll tweet something, it'll be a joke or like something genuine, something, it doesn't matter. You tweet something, and someone will respond with like, just like a razz, just like dunking on you or something like that, and you don't know them, and it's only something like, something that I would say to you, but imagine if you didn't know me, like, "I'm gonna suck your dick," or something
Right.
like that. Like, over familiar, playful rudeness is like, "I'm not okay with this. Stop razzing on me. I don't know you. You're my friend."
Like, and I guess this happens a lot, especially if you're tweeting about something that is trending, like on a larger scale, right? So people from anywhere can just reply to you. I'll just be like, I'll make like a sarcastic joke about Bernie Sanders, and then some fucking crazy person will just be like, "No," and take it like super seriously, and I'm just like, it was a joke, and they were like, "Oh, haha, that's right, I got it, buddy, haha, just being a couple dumbasses together, am I right?" And I'm like, who are you? Like, we are not buddy over your stupid misunderstanding of my joke. Like, get the fuck out of here.
People, it's mostly like someone will make some weirdly deep cutting like comment about how you look, or like something that you said, like, "Oh, that's fucking stupid, you dumb, stupid, dumb idiot." And it's just like, we're not friends. You don't get to talk to me like that.
Dude, there's some like cringy, like along those lines, there's like, if you go on people's Instagrams, especially cosplayers and like models and stuff, I guess, like you can see this like for Meg Turney and stuff. If you go in the comments, you'll just see people like harping on like the tiniest details over photos for some reason.
Oh, I love it when they're like polite, because they think that's gonna be the thing that'll get them in there.
Yeah, it's like
It's just like, all these other guys are just pointing out how beautiful you are, but I think your soul is the beautiful part. It's just like, what? Shut up.
like, "Hi Meg, I say this because I love you, and I hope you can take this as constructive criticism, but I feel like you wear
That ass is fat.
I feel like you wear too much makeup, and I'd much rather prefer to see your natural beauty. You have nothing to hide. I think you're beautiful as you are."
What do you guys think about plastic surgery?
Think of what?
Plastic surgery.
I don't really
I don't much.
I don't really care. Although I think a lot of the times it ends up looking worse than what you were.
Not about like its aesthetics, but like people who are all body positivity until they see someone who has plastic surgery, and then they fucking tear them apart.
Oh, that's pretty hypocritical, yeah.
Yeah, I fucking hate that shit.
I mean, there's a lot of hypocrisy in like the body there's just like a lot of issues within like the body positivity thing, just because there's a bunch of weird people all arguing
Because it's not like a
things.
controlled group. It's just a bunch of people who add the hashtag body positivity to anything they say. So people will now see that as, oh, that's what body positivity means, or that's what feminism means, or something like that. It's so fucking annoying.
What do you think body positivity should mean to you.
Being
Like,
confident in the way you look.
yeah,
Not caring about what people think of you.
I think that's a good baseline to follow. But then
If you want to compliment
I see
people
this a
all
lot on
day
Reddit
and call them a
especially.
beautiful queen or whatever, you're welcome to. But I think it's more about people seeing themselves that way. And as much as you compliment someone, it's not going to help.
And I see, and this is kind of like the more controversial aspect of it, but I don't think it's that controversial, where you'll see like a plus size person or whatever, like posting a photo of like hashtag body positivity. Like, I feel good about the way I look, whatever, because I bought this new dress or whatever. I just like the way I did my makeup or whatever. And I'm like, cool, I'm glad you feel good about yourself. Then you'll have like fucking like neckbeards coming out of the woodwork being like, you shouldn't feel positive about your body when you're seriously unhealthy. You're promoting an unhealthy lifestyle too.
Oh, yeah,
like,
a bunch of doctors that come out of nowhere with
Yeah.
degrees in, physical therapy and everything. I think there's a lot of definitions of healthy, and there are, obesity is fucking gross, and you'll have heart disease and bone problems and stuff like that, so you should limit yourself, obviously, but there's a way to live being heavier than average.
Yeah, I mean, it basically just comes down to, I feel like there's a big mental health aspect to it, where so many people have image problems just because of typical bullying, or like they see what society or mainstream society like deems as beautiful. So if you can see in yourself something beautiful and like be happy about that and be confident with that, like that's great. Like, more power to you. I think that's what it should be about. And people trying to tear that down for what even is the motivation behind that? To like just go try and fucking dunk on someone who you think is quote unquote promoting an unhealthy lifestyle. Like, what are you trying to accomplish exactly? Like, I feel that person is looking for like a righteous reason to be an asshole, or like a righteous reason to just
maybe in some cases with some people they are somehow promoting an unhealthy lifestyle or something. But when you're talking about someone who's just plus size in a healthy way, and then you're saying, oh, you're promoting unhealthy lifestyle, I think it's almost like I disallow myself to be that, so no one else can. And if you try to be, then you're like a monster. I'm limiting myself, and it takes great effort, and I dislike doing it, and I resent myself for it. So I'm going to point out that it's a flaw in everyone.
Yeah. In all honesty, most internet like hate and assholishness really, I think, just comes down to like a self-loathing from that person, like deep within themselves, like that they need to make up for by lashing out at other people online, like looking at another person's happiness or another person's success and just being like, oh, here's all the reasons that this is actually wrong, or oh, there's something wrong with this, or why you don't deserve that, but I do, etc., etc. And that just kind of shit is just so annoying and aggravating.
It's also like they'll start to think that, oh, what I find attractive is no longer is being threatened by this person deeming this thing that they are as attractive, and that's different than what I align up as pretty or whatever. So they're thinking, oh, a new movement is going to start where none of the people that I find attractive are going to exist anymore. The body type that I like is going to disappear for some reason because this person is now pretty due to society's changing standards, which is so fucking pathetic.
You see that a lot of shit with like neckbeards and yeehaw Twitter just being like, all these feminists are gonna get short haircuts and be ugly as fuck, and no one's ever gonna want to have sex with them, so joke's on them, I guess. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, like, calm your ass down. You're like wishing ill will upon these people, these hypothetical people that you've never met, this image of someone that you've like built up in your mind to rail against for some reason, just because you have a beef to pick and you had a bad day because your fucking Ford Tahoe broke down and fucking your lawnmower won't start, and
My Ford Tahoe with
you ran out of
fit
dip
with the
and the store is closed or something. Like, whatever.
It's a tragic day when you run out of dip.
Anyways, that was like a fucking long rant about who knows what the fuck else. But on a lighter note, for some reason, this probably isn't a lighter note, but I just think this is actually kind of fucking dumb business wise.
What kind of note is this?
Borderlands 3 is not happening anytime soon. So
Yeah, it
I don't care.
got delayed to 2020.
you didn't like Borderlands?
I
Any of them,
liked
Patrick?
Borderlands 2, and I liked Borderlands, what's it called?
The pre-sequel?
Pre-sequel. I'm thinking about them now, and I'm like, those games get old real quick.
I remember loving
I
Borderlands 2.
disagree. I feel like I could go back and play those games an endless number of times. I feel like if you and I started playing it again tonight, we would latch onto it like it was.
We did do
like
that
the first time we played it. We did do that. Yeah, it's that kind of game.
It is, but
And,
it sort of feels like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm playing a game that I really like right now that's so different. I can't imagine like going back to play Borderlands, but I don't know. I'm not excited for the next Borderlands because I feel like Borderlands has already been done, and they have to change a lot for me to want to play it again.
Well, they got a lot of time to do so.
I think it's too late. I think even if they released it this fall or something, it'd be too late for Borderlands 3.
Do you think they're going to make the graphics great, or is this going to be Borderlands with a new world and new guns?
It'll probably be the same art style and stuff.
That's not what I mean. Graphics are better.
I mean, yeah, definitely. It'll be the first Borderlands released on modern consoles.
You think there's going to still be those weird clipping things where a fence is like shot through like a boulder or something like that? Like all those weird clipping things?
Probably a little bit. Just with a game of that size, you do get shit like that a lot. But
more so in Borderlands.
I think the biggest issue with Borderlands isn't really the gameplay anymore. It's that everyone else is already doing Borderlands and is probably doing it better than they could do it now. Yeah, like you have the Division. You have
also the humor has to fucking take a fucking jump into the air.
Are you telling me the Division's better than Borderlands?
Did you
in some aspects?
Really? No, that's not true at all.
Okay, I was gonna list off a bunch of games, but like.
That's a bad example.
You started with a bad one.
Oh, Yaman, what happened to your great examples, though, huh?
Yeah, what's your
Are you saying that he made a bad example?
Dunk on him.
Yeah, I am.
But, like, it's just the genre, I guess, is oversaturated. Not necessarily that a bunch of other people are already doing it better, but, like...
Battle Royale.
Borderlands... Oh, my God, imagine. I bet they would, though. That's the thing. Fucking Destiny, The Division... Anthem, when that comes out, is gonna be just another like looter shooter thing, right? Just like open world, whatever.
I feel like Borderlands does it better than all of those games. They did it first, and they still do it better. I would still take Borderlands, the pre-sequel, over Destiny.
Yeah, but why the fuck haven't they made another Borderlands in like 8 years?
I mean, I don't know why, but they're doing it, and not only are they doing it, they've delayed it. Not only did they delay it, they delayed it to 2020. So I mean, they're not. What is the word? They're gonna make it
like
good
the company that
by their
the
standards.
company that makes it, Gearbox Software, right? Like,
Yes.
I don't understand if Borderlands 2 was such a huge success, you would immediately jump on that, and they did with the pre-sequel, sort of. But then by the time the next consoles rolled around, they just stopped. They just re-released their old games and just did nothing. And then they just released the shitty Aliens, Colonial Marines game, those fucking garbage. And then they released, what was that, like a MOBA they made? What the fuck is that called? Battleborn.
Sure.
Battleborn.
Yeah, no, that.
Which was like a hero shooter / MOBA or something that no one even fucking remembers or talks about anymore.
Just a clone of Overwatch.
Yeah, like no one fucking plays.
Not
it,
even
no one
like,
talks about it.
this is thematically similar. This is literally a clone of Overwatch.
Yeah, no, I think you're thinking about Paladins.
Whatever.
But yeah, that's the point. Is that no one fucking can tell the difference because it's not Overwatch, basically. So who gives a fuck? So they basically put out all these like failed games, right? And I get the appeal of trying new things, but like, if you need to like, you can make a good game. You can like improve on Borderlands 3, make it different while still cashing on this like successful franchise you built, improving on it, and just being the best at that. But instead, they've waited for so long that it's probably too late now, and I don't think too many people are going to be interested in.
What do you mean by too late?
I think
I mean, I kind of see what he's saying. That like the hype is
dying. Like people who were excited for Borderlands 3 were excited about it either like right now or like a few years ago. But like this delay to 2020, I'm just like, I'm not going to be actively thinking about Borderlands then, I think.
Yeah, and then it'll come out and surprise you, so people will buy it.
I mean, I hope so, but I don't know. I think
It was so I remember doing a bunch of research on this, and I can't remember a lot of it. But after Borderlands 2, 2K Australia worked on Borderlands the pre-sequel. 2K Australia then went out of business in where is it? 2015, April of 2015.
did they go out of business because
So
the
I'm sure
pre-sequel didn't do well or something?
I'm assuming so. It did not do very well.
I mean,
Not sure.
yeah. I don't remember a lot of people talking about that game.
I typed in Border Lambs.
That's the game that needs to be made. Borderlands. It's about a family of lambs trying to cross the U.S.-Mexican border to flee for safety and create a new life in America.
2K Martin, the parent company, closed in 2011. And I just remember reading about so many people that had to do with the Borderlands games development going out of business or being sold to other publishers or something. And I'm sure that caused trouble in making this newest game.
Yeah, for sure.
Development, release, reception.
I mean, in that weird like post-apocalyptic looter shooter thing, that's just what I'm gonna call it because that's the closest thing I can come up with.
It's a good name. Yeah.
Did you guys see the trailer for Rage 2?
No.
I did not. I don't even know what Rage. Like I don't know what Rage 1 was like.
It's
or
basically
like,
just
I
like
don't
a
know the
Mad.
genre
It's
or
basically just like Mad Max, like in a video
Okay.
game form. Like just
Was it popular? Everyone was freaking out when they announced Rage 2.
the thing is that the first Rage wasn't that popular, so this comes as a surprise. But I think they're reinventing it to kind of fill that, like Bethesda's reinventing it to fill the Borderlands like hole, right? So big open world, cool vehicles, all kinds of crazy weapons, and whatever, you go around, fuck some shit up, right? And it just looks like a Mad Max game, which is cool, and it's just kind of, it's like more realistic than Borderlands, obviously. Like there's no cel shaded graphics or anything, but
Okay.
that it's surprising to me that we're getting a sequel to Rage before we're getting Borderlands 3, which Rage is a game that people mostly forgot about.
They would have to sell more than $60 million worth of games to make profit on the PS4. By some estimates, that's 1 million copies just to break even.
They could do that easily.
What, with Rage or Borderlands?
Pre-sequel.
Oh, they could.
Oh, with the
I
pre-sequel.
feel like they could do that. $1 million?
Did they do that? I feel like you can just Google
I'm
that,
not
can't you?
sure.
Borderlands the pre-sequel sales?
I think they could have easily crossed a million units. I'd be like amazed if they didn't. Fucking indie games that like are mildly successful sell like over 1 million units. Like they should be fine if they're
1 million to 2
Access
million.
restricted, huh? Yeah, 1 million. So they definitely made money.
Yeah,
off
but I
of it.
guess it's not as huge of a success. Because honestly, I don't remember. I never bought the pre-sequel or played it, just because I heard it like wasn't as good as Borderlands 2. But I don't know. People must have gotten something out of it.
Playtime in the last 2 weeks, 6.5 minutes.
Holy Borderlands 2, 5,000 or sorry 5,000, 5 million to 10 million.
Yeah, right.
So good.
Like it's a fucking.
And also,
huge.
when it was released, everybody was like, "Fucking, this is the game of the year."
Yeah, but I remember I didn't like the first Borderlands, but I still have it. Actually, it's backwards compatible. I could play it right now.
I
But
hope they change the humor and the stuff for the new one, so it's not annoying.
what would you want to change it to? I feel like the over the
Something
top
that's
shit
not
was kinda like,
very pathetic and childish.
Pre-sequel was not good. The humor was not good. at
Same with
pre-sequel,
Borderlands
no.
2. I
Really?
hated both of those games' humor. Claptraps really
Borderlands
loud
2
and
sales
dick jokes,
past the 12
fart
million marks.
knuckle or whatever. It's just like, what the fuck is this?
It was almost like they were in the pre-sequel. They were trying to use they were trying to make a bunch of references and like show the personalities that they established in the previous games, but it just wasn't working. It was like if 22 Jump Street was a flop. Like 22 Jump Street used 21 Jump Street
was
in
like
a
a
great way
springboard.
and
Stepped
made,
above it, yeah.
Yes. Pre-sequel did not do
Didn't do
a
that.
similar thing. They just kind of flopped.
They had a lot of like local humor, like bogan and like just Australian like jokes and stuff, which I was like, okay, this is I'm kind of into this. And then it just sort of it felt like a recycling of old jokes, like you said, and a lot of the same OMG, I'm so random, lol, dicks humor, which is the least interesting, most annoying thing in the world. And it's just like, oh, this character is intended to be annoying. Claptrap's supposed to be annoying. If you intentionally put a character into your game that is annoying and you can't stop from being annoying by killing them or throwing them off a cliff or something, then you're a fucking asshole. I don't care who you are.
Well, so there's annoying characters, but there's usually a balance. Like they end up being really funny, or they end up being
Claptrap's
like
not funny.
It's I know. That's a Claptrap is bad because he's just annoying. But characters that are usually annoying have a
Yeah.
good side. Like it turns out, like this person's annoying, but they've had a rough life and they're just trying to make the
And
best
then they
of all
have
the
a moment where
situations, which is kind
they
of
stop making those jokes or they grow as a person or something like that.
yes, or something. But like Claptrap just doesn't.
Tiny Tina as well,
Yeah.
fucking annoying. Like I get to she's like traumatized or whatever, but like all the jokes and all the fucking lines that she had were fucking abysmally annoying.
I remember kind of
Okay.
liking Tiny Tina, but I don't think I would have the same opinion if I went back and played it now. That was also, God, I played that game fucking like, must have been 5 years ago. So yeah, I was definitely like an entirely fucking different.
You remember
person.
how Mad Max just sort of dropped out of the sky and then people stopped talking about it?
You mean
The game or the movie?
Yeah.
I bought that game. I remember when it first came out, I was like, I'm gonna buy this, just not now when it's
And
on
it
sale. And I
went on
kept
sale
saying
for like
that.
$8.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it went on sale for like $8, and I bought it. Like
It was apparently okay.
it was
liked
not
it.
bad. I didn't finish it.
Yeah.
I did not like how long it took for you to get the guns and like all the ugly fucking everything about that. Like, surely there's a person on your team who recognizes how ugly the assets are. Like having a little shitty PVC pipe gun, and that's your only gun and the only good-looking gun is the most powerful gun. So you have to get to the end of the game to get it. That's so fucking annoying.
I mean, that's better than the first gun you get being the best looking gun, and then you're
great
always
example.
like,
Origins. Every time you upgrade your, let's say your bracers, they look better. Each one you're like better, even better, and a little bit better every time. Whereas with this one, it was just dog shit, dog shit, dog shit, dog shit, dog shit, and at the very end of the line, you might get something that doesn't look like dog shit. That's stupid.
That's kind of like the age-old problem with some RPGs, especially like Skyrim and The Witcher 3, where you get certain armor
Oh
and
my God,
items
The Witcher
that
3.
looks way fucking worse than
I'm a
what you
court
had
jester
on,
now.
but it has way better stats. Like in The Witcher, that's especially a really bad problem, where your starting armor in The Witcher looks so fucking cool.
It
It's
does.
just like a cool Witcher uniform. I wish I could like just carry that with me the rest of the game. But then like 30 minutes later, you'll kill a random guy on the road, and his fucking clown outfit will have like 5 times as better stats than your fucking
It's always
like
that,
chainmail Witcher assassin like vest. And I'm like, how the fuck?
I have no idea. Like, I get they're supposed to be like doing this medieval theme, and it's basically every single new one you get would be a different like rainbow colored tunic that's like got this lace like collar thing and gloves, and there's no armor visible, and it's always ugly as shit.
that's always how I felt about Assassin's Creed games, where they start you out with the coolest assassin outfit ever, and it's just like upgrading. Like it never feels like an upgrade. You never really want to change what you're wearing. Origins was different because they start you out.
Black Flag was different.
I don't know. I feel like Black Flag was just like the rest, where I just didn't want to change it.
The last, like, you can get different versions of different armor, and there's like a lot of color changes. Different pirate outfits, and all of them look good.
Especially Black Flag, the color scheme. I love that the blue with
The blue and white,
I
almost
love
like
that.
a flag. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
The final armor you get is the Mayan armor, and you look fucking amazing.
But Origins starts you off. It's literally like, it's like a couple cloths, and it's like it hardly resembles like a.
But you like it,
But
right?
but it's nice, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Something that kind of eludes me. When I first, there's this place you can go to in the game called a seamstress or a weaver, and they have the different outfits you can buy. And I found one, and I was like, it's called like a bandit chief marauder armor, and I was like, that looks cool. I'll buy that, and I put that on. And then I started visiting the Weaver again and again. I was just like, oh, they still got the same stuff. Better wait a little while, maybe see they have new stuff. They don't.
It's got to be a time thing.
Maybe, but I recently just bought one of the ones that I didn't like because I was like, maybe this will refresh their stock. So I'm going to see when I play the game again if that made a difference, but I really hope it does. All the DLC, oh my god, I'm going to spend so much fucking money on this game. I'm such an idiot, but I'm going to.
I'll tell you if it's a time thing, because I don't see myself changing the outfit anytime soon. So I'll tell you if they just change.
I get like his original outfit is fucking amazing. It's not even like heavily armored. It's just like this very flowing, like you can see that he works in that environment.
Yeah, it fits perfectly for that setting. Yeah, I love it.
And the other armors that you get just add more cloth and cover in places. I keep burping.
More cloth. It's like you've increased your armor by 30 points, and it's just like one. It's like a scarf now. You have like a.
Using my linen.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Would you
armor
just get more
that I
fucking sweaty? Like all the blades just
no,
slide
no,
off.
no.
Oh, yeah.
The reason why
all the time.
I do a little bit of role playing in my head when I make decisions in games like this. And the idea for me is like, if you're in a desert, surely you want to cover, and most of you'll get like cancer. You'll get fucking skin radiation poisoning.
Well,
I don't have him wear his hood though, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
True. Do sunglasses exist in that game?
No.
Like a form of shades?
You know, there is something that they could use, which is used by the Inuits and the Alaskan
bullworm.
Shut up. Shut up. He's making a SpongeBob reference, Patrick.
Perhaps he is the bullworm. Then you get sandy cheeks to get in there with a paperclip and take them out. But there are these tiny little, like, they would carve a piece of wood to fit the shape of your eyes and then cut two tiny holes in there. So it would work almost like your pupils do, where they just refract until they don't let in much light. Those are pretty cool. They might have those, like, as an early version.
See, now I don't have AC Origins.
You should.
I'm gonna get it eventually, but I feel like I'm just gonna start playing it through AC Syndicate since I did miss that one.
Oh, do that first. Do that first.
Yeah, because I feel if I can't go from Origins to Syndicate because
you will not be able to. I deleted the game.
I can't imagine going back now. I just can't.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so glad it was free with gold because I would have just bought that game for nothing.
Yeah. It was I remember I wasn't gonna buy it because the combat looked too hack and slash for me, and I'm not a fan of that. But it's absolutely not that. There's actually so much to it.
It's almost like For Honor.
It's identical to For Honor. It's not a bad comparison.
I saw a little bit of that For Honor combat stuff in the E3 like gameplay videos and the camera angle is super similar too, where it's kind of like low to the ground and like directly behind you, but then at an angle so you can see the guy. Yeah, it's like really dramatic and stuff. That looks really cool to me. Like
Donkey had that complaint. He was like, Assassin's Creed is boring, and he went through all the games and he was just like, yeah, this is boring, too much walking, too much talking, and stuff like that. But in this game, I really haven't noticed too much of that. And the brief breaks are okay because the rest of the game is just like action, everything, adventure, all this stuff. And then the time where you sit down and talk to someone, you're like, all right, I want to hear what this person has to say. I'm interested. Like, Bayek of Siwa is actually an interesting character.
Yeah.
His wife, Aya, as well.
Had to be Aya.
I was, like, they were having a moment, this I guess is a kind of a spoiler, when you go out and you're with the Animus chick, and then she tries to be in Aya's body, and I was just like, I really don't want to do back and forth between two characters. I just want to have one. And then it said, oh, the memories haven't unsynced, so you can't be Aya. And I'm like, oh, too bad. What is it?
Goddamn. Okay. I'm gonna jump into emails now that we're past like an hour in.
You gonna do the one where we made her uncomfortable and I felt really bad about?
I don't think you should feel bad about it.
Yeah, fuck her.
What the fuck is this email? I just found this. This is from What If You Just Didn't at AOL.com. How to be happy, how to solve world peace, how to sleep. That's the entire email. This is weird.
How to be happy?
There's just a weird email from back in February that looks like a robot wrote it, but
delete it.
It makes no sense. Where's that one? Here's the one that you said made you uncomfortable. What I think was actually
no, it did not make me uncomfortable. We made her uncomfortable and made me sad.
Okay. This is from Monty. Hey lads, Monty here. I've been catching up on your podcast. I was out of the country and I couldn't get it for a while, so sorry if this has already been said. Just a note, unless all you want to, you don't have to bring this up on the podcast. It's more than just a comment for y'all to look at. Well, it's a little late for that. Listening to a couple episodes, especially episode 35, I always get a little uncomfortable when you guys talk about religion. In my experience, a lot of people raised Christian who have a complicated or just plain negative relationship with Christianity tend to generalize their views to religion as a whole. I totally get where you guys are coming from when discussing a belief in a god or lack thereof. A, because that's a totally valid personal opinion, and B, because I share a lot of your opinions on that. The thing is, though, that despite the fact that I don't believe in any sort of god, I'm still religious, and I think that's an important distinction to make. I come from a Jewish family, and so we've been through a lot of shit, both as a people and our family specifically, because of our religion, ethnicity, culture. Ha ha ha, Judaism is complicated. Participating in Jewish activities is super important to me, despite the fact that my beliefs don't vibe with what people tend to assume about Jews/religious people in general. Like, I don't believe in God, and yet I still keep kosher. What's up with that? Well, it keeps me connected to my heritage, makes me know I'm part of a larger community, and makes me more conscious about what I eat, and especially the fact that things died so I could eat them. What I'm trying to say with my ramblings is that religion is obviously wildly complex, and Christianity, what might be considered a dominant religion, and definitely a religion kind of known for oppressing others, is not a universal experience, just something to keep in mind. Really, though, I want to thank you a lot for the podcast. I first tuned in and started expecting it to be sort of bro-y, and I've been so pleasantly surprised. Y'all make my day better. Best, Monty. Thank you for that very lengthy and thoughtful email. So I guess I just want to say to that, yeah, I guess when we talk about religion, it's definitely like Christian-centric, since I think that's like where most of our experience comes from, and mine specifically.
Yeah,
I went
just
to Catholic school for like 12 years.
That's it. You heard it here, folks.
The example of Judaism is
beliefs and reasons
especially it's really different because I know a lot of people. What's up?
I can't hear anything you're saying.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking. Don't worry. But the thing that about Judaism is that the culture and religion aspects are different. Not different, but they are so intertwined in that I know a lot of people at school especially aren't religious, but they do follow a lot of like the Jewish customs and things like that. So like you said, they'll keep kosher, they'll celebrate Jewish holidays and things like that. So
yeah, I'm assuming he's talking.
I don't know. I just think that's fascinating where you can not really believe in like the faith aspects of it, but you still participate in all like the culture stuff. And I don't know. So that's cool, and I'm glad you're happy with that and getting a positive experience out of it. So I don't know what you guys think, though.
I don't know what you said, so I don't know if I would repeat it.
The audience heard you, but we did not, as the connection.
I'm just gonna say what Pena said. Okay. That probably made sense. Somehow.
Yeah, I agree, Pena. Very, very well worded and thought out.
Hear, hear.
Thank you.
I second that notion.
What if it turns out he was like,
I think we should round up all Jews.
Yeah, I know, right? What if he ends up saying something super hateful and we couldn't hear him?
It's gonna be a BuzzFeed article about us. This podcast was anti-Semitic.
Yaman texted in the group chat, "You're cutting out," and Pena said, "I am talking." What the fuck are you talking about?
Pena said that first. He said it first, Alec.
Yeah,
you're not Alex.
You dumb
you're
bitch.
Patrick.
Okay.
Anyways, next email.
Can I read it?
Yeah, go for it.
I have to get to the emails.
Oh my god.
Oh my fucking god! What? Don't fucking say that if you are not gonna fucking.
Look at that! I'm already here. I'm not already there.
Yeah, no, you're lying. You're a liar. You're full of it.
Wen Bin Fang.
Fuck you, call me.
I built a podcast search engine. Oh, this is
Patrick, you're reading the fucking spam.
Shut up.
Spam mail.
Oh my god.
Goddamn
this
idiot.
is from. Why is this sent to? All right. Anyway, shut up. McKaylee Miller. Patrick, your video naming the characters from BNHA.
What does that stand for?
Boku no Hero Academia. Got on Tumblr, and you probably don't care, but I feel like I'm watching a kid grow up, even though you're like 4 years older than me. Anyways, my friend thought it was hilarious. I'm glad.
What does she mean by watching you grow up?
I don't really know.
Oh shit, that has a lot of notes.
Yes, it does.
67,740.
It also got on Twitter and has like 22,000 retweets. So by someone else that's not me. So I'm glad that somebody's sharing things and not crediting me. It feels great.
Hey, what the fuck? Yo, that would piss me off actually.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter.
That's annoying as fuck.
Literally nothing I can do about it. So
sue them. Or you could raise a stink and just be like, hey, at this person who reposted my shit, thanks for giving me credit. I see a lot of snarky people do that on Twitter. This one is from Melody. It's 5 a.m. and this tickled my fancy. It's a drawing of Patrick, I think on graph paper or something. And it's a little doodle of Patrick's fucking head saying, if you think... I can't even read this. I'm so sorry.
Why is it sideways?
Mostly because well, I think it's scanned that way, or the picture's taken that way, but I can't read it sideways.
It says, Patrick, if you think wine big stupid idiots, then fell us.
Tell
us.
If you think we're big stupid idiots, then tell us. Oh, okay. And Patrick, it's the competition to be the most woke.
It's the competition
like
to be
that.
the most woke.
That's real as fuck. And then this one's from fan favorite Katie. Just finished the most recent pod. How many people in Game of Thrones fall into a river half dead and don't die? Is this like a reoccurring theme? I think it was just
tired of it.
I just think it's that one season that got really dumb when Arya fell into the fucking gross ass disgusting
Jamie
river.
Lannister did the same thing.
Well, he wasn't like mortally
Using
wounded.
full plate
or anything.
armor.
Well, yeah. Well, he should have drowned. That's a whole different thing. But yeah, people fall. Actually, now that you think about it, maybe there is quite a lot of like
Jon
water
Snow
related.
fell into the ice and didn't die.
Fuck yeah. Now that I think they just use submerging people in water as like a cheap dramatic thing to make you think
like
they're gonna die. Oh man, wow! I don't know why I just had that really obvious breakthrough where the showrunners are kind of full of shit and just using a cheap tactic to make us scared for our favorite characters. Oh, okay. We also have some new pod reviews. This one is from Cray Cray 2. It's as good as fresh squeezed orange juice. This podcast has tickled my pickle and sugar-coated my bacon. Wow, how time flies. I've been listening to the podcast from the start. Keep making them or I'll die. Please and thank you. Hot Duck, I love this podcast. Yes, thank you. This next one is from Peeps on Facebook. Wonderful. I have 4 plants. Their names are George, Jonathan, Heffley, and Charlie. I'm sure if they had ears, they'd love this podcast as much as I do. Thank you. I hope they live long,
How do you know they don't have
bountiful,
ears?
fruitful lives.
Corn has ears.
You want to know something funny? I actually did a science experiment in middle school for the science fair
Oh, that's
where
hilarious.
I tested how quickly plants grew depending on what kind of music I played to them. Turns out it doesn't make a difference.
I was gonna say.
There's no science. My fucking 7th grade science report cannot confirm that music plays a significant role in helping fucking plants grow. So
You played it some Kanye and now it's racist.
free thought.
I did almost the same experiment my junior and senior year of high school for like my final project in science. I had 5 cups with water and they all had different pH levels, and I'd put something in it and see what it did to it in the different pH levels. First I did a plant, and then senior year I did a nail. That was it. I did the same thing. And if I had to do another project, I would do the same thing with a different item.
Did you ever do, that sounds a lot like if you leave like a tooth or like something in Coke for like a week, what happens to it? There was an episode of The Simpsons about this, I think, that I'm drawing from, where Lisa leaves her fucking tooth in Coke as a science experiment. An entire like microscopic like universe begins to grow.
That sounds like something Good Mythical Morning would do.
Can I read this one that's mad at me?
Yes.
Go for it. I don't know what it would be.
Anna Leidecker. Hey, Prude dudes. This podcast is super fun. Y'all do a lot of good critique here.
But Patrick is a bit... No.
Actually, especially Patrick, who seems full of white guy rage.
Ooh.
So my challenge, if you want it, is to talk about some or all of these positive things. There's a lot of these things. A song or artist you're into right now, a characteristic you look for in a friend, your ideal day, a recent thing you're proud of, a book you love, something you never regret spending time on. Thanks for the time and for making this funny podcast. Best,
And
She didn't seem angry at you at all. You made it sound like she was gonna like tear you a new one.
Wait, she said, P.S. I love discussing the personal as political, so if you're ever interested in the perspectives of a real-life woman of color, please reach out, and I'd be happy to talk. Nice. I'm sure we can use you as our ambassador for all the stupid, controversial opinions we might have. Although I don't think we ever said too
well,
things
I don't
too
know
bad.
if we should answer every single one of these, but why don't we say, you're a characteristic you look for in a friend. How about that? That's kind of interesting.
Funny.
Characteristic.
Okay
That's
with
very true.
with offensive humor.
A sense of humor.
Offensive humor. Oh, you were just
sense
saying
of humor.
Okay,
A
got
sense of offensive humor.
it. A sense of exactly. There you go. Good team answer, guys.
I think a sense of humor is pretty important, and I think
Big tits.
That's why Patrick and I are friends.
I think you kind of just,
Take a second.
I thought you were saying that because, like, hey, Patrick said something funny, but it was always weird.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. What is a recent thing you guys are proud of? That's interesting.
I survived this semester. Congrats to everybody that survived the semester. Double congrats to the people that just graduated. You guys did it. I'm proud of
Yeah, I
you.
thought I was gonna get C's this semester,
proud
but
of
I
you.
actually did pretty well. So.
Someone stole my video. 8 people stole a video that I made and had it gotten more views than anything I've ever posted.
That's why you got to put a
so
watermark on it, bitch.
Why would I do that? I hate
Because
that
people
shit.
steal your video.
I don't fucking care.
Oh, you totally sound like you don't care.
I don't care if I don't care about the watermark. I just, like, I don't know. There should be a system to, like, take stuff down. It's my voice, like, in the video.
There is a system.
Called copywriting yourself, and I don't have a copyright.
You can copyright
watermark
anything
on
if
it.
it's your original work. If that shit's on YouTube, for example, I think you could. Oh well, no.
I actually
never
don't
was uploaded
really
to YouTube.
want to take them down. I don't care that much. It just sort of bothers me that when I posted it on my account, it got a lot of views, but like not as many as some random prick just posting it on Twitter.
What
and-
video is this? What is this?
It's a video I did where I went down the list of pictures of characters from this anime that I watch, and I gave them silly names based on their appearance.
Okay.
Like I called the one guy who has fire on one side of his body and ice on one side of his body. He looks like Iceman, and the Human Torch had a child and then traumatized it.
Nice. So funny. I mean, I've never seen the anime, but I still thought it was funny. So, all right. Thank you for your email, Anna. We're gonna wrap this up. Thank you again for listening, guys. If you want to leave us an email or a review, send that shit to prudedudes@gmail.com or go to the iTunes page, leave us a review, and we'll read it on the show. If you want to follow us on Twitter, I'm at AlexPun97, Patrick is at PatrickCharlotte05, and Yaman is at its_Yaman. You can also find the Prude Dudes accounts on Twitter and Instagram at Prude Dudes. Pretty sure that's it. Thank you again for listening, guys, and we will see you again next week.
Bye-bye.
Fuck you.